everybody. We're spending some time with Dr. Julie Mikles-Schluterman this morning. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Thank you for spending some time with us. I think to start off, to get us kicked off here is, I guess, tell us where you grew up, where are you from, a little bit of that background.
All right. So I am originally from the Paris and Subiaco, Arkansas area. I grew up on I like to say a small, but it's really not small, family farm. My parents still live there. And I actually got my bachelor's degree here at Arkansas Tech. I originally thought I wanted to be a psychology major. I started off as a psychology major. And then Dr. Cal Dunham, I had him for Intro to Sociology. And after class one day, he sort of looped me in and he said, you need to be a student worker in our office. And I ended up being a student worker in the office, but I ended up double majoring, like lots of our students do, in sociology and psychology. But when I went to grad school, I definitely knew I wanted to do sociology. It has fascinated me from the beginning. So I went to the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, and I got my master's degree, and then I got my Ph.D. My focus areas were the family. So I mostly studied the family. I wrote my dissertation about different types of parenting and why parents parented the way that they did. It was fascinating. I had a fantastic dissertation chair. Great guy. And then when I went on the job market, it was a little bit before, I was a little early looking out for the jobs, and I saw a job ad for Arkansas Tech. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's, I could not go back to Arkansas Tech, right? A lot of my professors were still here. And so I thought that would just be too weird. It wouldn't work. So I put it off. I did not apply. Well, the next semester now is really time to look for a job and to apply. And that job ad popped up again. And it was written for me. It was exactly all the things that I do. And I thought it was written for me. And my parents would kill me if I did not apply for that job. So I did, and here we are. And I've been here since 2007.
2007,
yes.
Okay, so it's been a little bit.
Yeah.
You kind of mentioned UT Knoxville, and I've got a good buddy who got his degree at UT Knoxville in sociology, James Maples. I don't know if you've ever heard of that name, but maybe not.
Must have been after.
Yeah, I think now, if James watches this, he may get on to me. I think he completed his Ph.D. in 2012 or 2013, okay. Somewhere right in there. But good guy. Another sociologist.
Yes.
I think that I get along with sociologists fairly well, I would say. So you arrive at Tech. You're here. So I guess the next step was tell me about the program here at Tech for sociology.
The current program?
Yeah,
or whenever I started?
Oh, just go current.
Yeah. Okay, current. So currently in the department, we are the Department of Behavioral Sciences. So we have a sociology bachelor's degree, criminal justice, psychology, and anthropology. So I like to describe our department as we are all interested in understanding why people do the things that they do. We're all interested in studying human behavior, but we all have our different approach and perspective on it. But it makes for some fascinating hallway conversations because everybody has their own approach to understanding how we do things. So it's very interdisciplinary.
Sure. All right, so, and I'm asking this intentionally because I know you're pretty active with your students, getting them some experiences. So tell us a little bit about the kind of experiences the students get within the curriculum, within the program, but also, because I know y'all take your students outside, and not outside, but yes, outside, but into the community and whatnot.
Yeah. So we are very aware in the department. We think about what kind of careers that our students want to go into. And so we try to engage them with that population, engage them in those organizations and institutions so that they can get some of that experience, but also to see if that's really what you want to do.
Sure.
So we do have, in the summer, Dr. Olsberger offers a law in action class, and it's an internship kind of class. So any students that are interested in criminal justice, They get to choose what organization that they want to intern with, and then he oversees that over the summer. But the idea is, right, engage with those organizations, see if this is really the kind of career that you want to do, but also to social network, right, make those connections. A lot of our students want to go into social work, and so we also reach out to lots of those organizations, and they will do internships with them, but we also do lots of service learning. So our capstone course that I offer is structured as a service learning course. And so teams of students reach out to different community partners of their choice, and they do a project with them over the course of a semester. They try to identify problems that the organization is having. Actually, the organization identifies for them problems that they're having, but then the students are tasked with trying to do problem solving for them. And they work with the community partner to say, well, maybe if we try this, and the community partner says, oh, we've already tried that, right? That didn't work for us. So they go back and forth until they agree on a solution to the problem, and then the students have the rest of the semester to try to implement that solution. So again, in our department, we like to think about what kind of work our students are going to be doing and what kind of organizations they're going to be working for or with, and we want to engage them in those places as much as we can.
Yeah, and I know that it kind of sets up too, because I know quite a few of your students go on for a master's or a graduate degree, right? And it's kind of giving that, what I would call that competitive advantage when they submit that portfolio. They have the grades, they have the scores or whatnot, but then they can speak to these projects and these collaborations they've been working on with these external audiences,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes, and so many employers want you to have experience,
Right.
right? And if you've just spent 4, sometimes 5 years in college, you don't actually have that experience, but doing these kinds of projects gives them actual skills that they can list that they have experience with. They can say, yes, I have created a database and I did it for this organization, or I collected surveys. I created a survey and I collected a survey and I did it for this organization. And I have a reference. You can call the contact there and they will give me a reference. That means a lot to employers, but it also means a lot to graduate programs.
Absolutely.
Having the grades, having the certificate is not competitive enough, right? You have to make yourself competitive and we need to do that. We need to make our students competitive by giving them those experiences.
Yeah, providing those opportunities and then letting them kind of engage with that. What kind of actually, gets us right into another question I was going to ask is, I know you're pretty active in several projects, but can you share a little bit about a project you've got going on or something, research you're doing?
Yes, I will. I'm happy to talk about the research that I'm doing. You and I discussed a little bit that it really, after 2020, that was such a rough and draining time period, and it was a point in my life where I was like, you know what, I want to do something different. I want to do something that makes me happy and that I look forward to. And within sociology, a lot of the things that we research and study, they are social problems, right? We talk about inequalities, we talk about poverty, we talk about, healthcare issues, things like that. And they're not really, in crime, they're not fun, right? And it can become really depressing to constantly read about social problems. And so I just decided, I started brainstorming and I said, having fun has always been really important to me. Whenever I am upset about something, or I'm sad, or I'm stressed, one of the things I do is I try to go have fun, right? I find people to laugh with, I try to make a joke, and so fun has been really important to me. And I thought, well, what do people do for fun and why? And I thought, well, that seems like something that would bring me joy and I would look forward to. And I will tell the story that back in November, I presented some of this research at a conference, and during that session, someone got up and talked about overflowing prison system. Another person got up and talked about some child poverty issues, Another person got up and talked about the death sentence and the number of people on death row. And then it was my turn, and I got up and talked about fun and how people have fun. And I noticed as I was giving my presentation, the people in the room had smiles on their faces. And that meant a lot to me. And I do like the idea of smiling more. And it was nice to be able to see people smiling about my research rather than the tension that we were feeling before. So I chose to talk about fun. And so I've been doing some research on the sociology of fun, and I did find a book by Ben Fincham. It was published in 2016, actually, and the title is The Sociology of Fun. Since then, because of my area of interest is on the family, I decided I'm going to begin by focusing on how families have fun. So currently, two colleagues and we did a content analysis on Pinterest. And we got 4 different people to search Pinterest for family fun. And we tried to create a little diversity in our searches. So there was an African American woman, me, a white woman, one white man, and one man, 2 people of Asian descent who searched Pinterest for family fun. And then we collected the top 15 pins. And we ended up with thousands of, not thousands of pins, but thousands of family fun suggestions. So if I don't know if you're familiar with Pinterest.
I'm not as familiar with Pinterest, but I mean, I have a familiarity, but I'm not on it.
Well, and you know what I also learned in this process is that most of the users, 70% of the users of Pinterest are women.
Sure, yeah.
And most of them are white women.
That tracks with everything I know about Pinterest as well, yes.
So that was interesting, and actually it added a layer of understanding of what we found. So we found thousands of family fun suggestions. So lots of the ways that people use Pinterest is they're looking for an idea for something. People use it for looking for recipes or how to organize a party, or I want to decorate my bedroom, or how do I reorganize this garage. But also people turn to Pinterest to say, I want to create a fun family night, or I want to create an activity for my kid's birthday party, and I'm looking for those kinds of ideas. And then people can pin those ideas. So we knew that this is where people went to Pinterest to find what can my family do for fun. So we ended up finding just over 1,000 family fun suggestions. So these pages were mostly written by white moms, and moms are giving suggestions to the readers of their pages. Here's something that you can do with your family to create fun. And so we've conducted a content analysis of what families do for fun.
Awesome, and so the next step is you're going to be doing some presentation and working on some manuscripts from this?
Yes, so I actually did 2 presentations in the past year. One of those with a student and one of those just on my own. But so those were sort of like initial exploratory sort of presentations. But from that, I currently have sketched out 3 papers. And the first one I'm hoping to get submitted this coming week in the study of leisure sciences. So the first paper is really looking at kind of delving into what is family fun and how do the writers of those pages talk about family fun, like how do they frame it. But then I'm also really interested in, there is this entire area of literature on leisure studies and what families do for leisure. But those two, really, the sociology of fun and leisure studies are different conversations. And so what I want to do in that first paper is not only talk about, okay, what are families doing for fun and why, but to sort of how does that fit in with the sociology of fun literature and the family leisure studies literature.
Yeah,
so that's the first paper. The second paper is going to be more about what middle-class families do for fun. Because in the sociology family literature, there's lots of stuff about how our parenting strategies are impacted by our social class. And that depending on what social class you are, you parent your kids differently. And so I'm really wanting to explore, okay, do you have fun with your family differently, depending on your social class? So that's going to be that second paper. And then the third paper is going to be more about gender. In the sociology of family literature, we know that moms and dads play a different role in parenting.
Certainly, yeah.
And we also know that it appears that moms and dads handle family fun differently, that they play different tasks.
Sure.
And so that's going to be a really fascinating paper because, like I said, most of these Pinterest pages were written by moms about how to have family fun. And if women are the ones that are searching Pinterest for family fun, then we can't ignore the fact that moms are mostly held responsible for organizing the family fun.
Sure. And as you're kind of toward the end there, as you're talking, I remember my two youngest daughters. I had them by myself for a Saturday morning, and I was like, we're gonna go do something fun. Well, in my mind, it means going out and exploring somewhere. Yeah. And I've got a picture somewhere of them by a sign in the Daniel Boone National Forest, and I got them up. We left. I didn't even think about anything, and this picture looks like I've got two feral children. And I showed it to my wife, and she was like, "Oh my Lord, like what are you doing?" In her mind, the family fun looks a little bit better, I guess you could say. I'm like, that was a great picture. But then another, when you're talking about the happiness piece too, is I was thinking about a book that I read. It's called The Geography of Bliss.
Oh, I don't
know. And I read, I think I read it pre-pandemic, but it was kind of a similar along the lines. Is I was like, I want to know more about where people are happy, and for different reasons, right? And I won't go into details about which are the more happy or less happy countries, but it's really cool that you're doing this study. I think to kind of wrap up a little bit here is, when we think about students that are wanting to go into sociology or wanting to take that next step after their degree in sociology, is there just I know that you've got some daughters in college as well, right? So what is some general advice you'd give to some students thinking about this whole thing, this whole nebulous thing about college and choosing a degree, and maybe that degree is sociology or maybe not?
This is advice that I give, and that is, don't overthink it, right? That just take chances, try things out, right? Give yourself experiences. If you see there's a speaker on campus, go to the talk, right? If someone tells you about a volunteer opportunity, go explore it. Just try out different things. If you see a class that looks fascinating to you, go take it. If it doesn't fit in your curriculum, take it anyway, because you never know what things are going to lead to, right? So you might, and it introduces you to new people. And the second piece of advice I would have is surround yourself with smart, talented people, because that inspires you, it motivates you, and it helps you to think about things differently, right? People who have different perspectives, that is a valuable gift that you can give to yourselves, to be able to think about things differently. And so surround yourself with smart, talented people. It just is so rewarding.
Absolutely. And I get to say I'm lucky in that regard, as I get to work with smart, talented people every day.
Same.
So, thank you so much, Dr. Mikles-Schluterman, and thank you.